Hi, everybody. Albert Raley here, running for President of the United States. I hope you can hear me okay. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take this off. And when you're wearing a mask, try to speak a little bit louder. Try to speak distinctively, because the person receiving it might not be able to hear you as well as you think. But anyway, these masks should be worn until there's a definite no, you don't have to wear them. And then you still might want to wear it a little bit longer. It protects you and it protects the people around you. So wearing a mask, social distancing of 6 feet or more, groups of 10 people, no more, and washing your hands. Well, anyway, let's get down to business today. Again, number 20 of my get-togethers. You know, like Franklin Roosevelt said, had his fireside chats. For you young people, you probably don't remember that. But anyway, these are my get-togethers. And today is May 15th, 2020. As I'm giving this broadcast, I'm going to try to recognize as many people as I can. I think last time I tried to do so many that I sort of interrupted the flow of the show, but that's all right. I can get back. I have a pretty good mind. And ask questions. Paul Fredisco's watching. Hey, Paul, do you have a question for me? And when you ask these questions, if I can't get to them right away, like Paul's wife Cheryl last week had a question for me, and I couldn't answer her until after the broadcast. Stephanie Boggs. Ron Dutch Bierman, are you kidding me? And Jamie, you turned it. Wow, everybody's starting to turn in. Sierra Carter. So I'm going to recognize you or get back to you in some way. There's just no doubt about it, because that's the way I am. This thing about running for the president, I still think that people think it's a joke. They think, who's that Al Raley? What's he think he's doing? He can't win. Well, I know my chances of winning are slim, but I'm going to make sure in the next 6 months or so that I get my name out there and the right people get a hold of it and believe in me, and maybe I'll even get on television, start campaigning on television. Ashley Markley Miller. Hi. But anyway, if there's ever a way that an independent write-in candidate with no money and all that stuff can make it, it'd be me, because I'm pretty ingenious, innovative. I'm going to do all I can. Matt Shipway, thanks for tuning in. Now, about the time this pandemic is sort of like lessening and hopefully over, that's about the time that I'm going to take office as president. That's good because we'll have a new country with a new president, having learned a lot from all this. A new and better way of thinking. I certainly hope that there wasn't some sinister reason for all this. My biggest concerns are, did we get to it quick enough? Were there warnings in advance? Why doesn't our president take control in making decisions? And this leads me to my topic today. Jamie Pack says we need more stuff American-made. Make America great again. Yeah, well, that's one of my goals. I believe we can be self-sufficient. And this stuff of importing more costly things, paying out more importing from Mexico as we are exporting, we're like $52 billion in the hole each year. And that's not right. All those car parts or automobiles that are coming from Mexico, say the Ford Motor Company, all those guys, get them right here in the United States. We might continue to export and import, but I'll tell you what, it's going to be sort of an equal thing. Hi, Lindsay. Lindsay Marie is watching. Now, you know our country's being crippled economically. I talked before. You can go back and see my other videos about anything, any ideas that I have. And yeah, they're sending us, $1,200 a piece stimulus money. and they're thinking about sending $3,000 more, $6,000 more to a family. Yeah, we'll take that money, but you know what? It's crippling us. It really is. I mean, we don't have the money. We're just manufacturing the money, pulling it out of thin air. Nathan Wagner and Julia Stewart. Brent Blank. Hi, Brent. So we're using monies that we don't have. I saw some news reporter yesterday said, Julian Gates, hi, said, well, you know, we might not have to pay for this, but our descendants will. Oh, my God. As big as that deficit is right there, it is just so astronomical. The numbers are just meaningless. And let me move on here. We're going to give, and in that stimulus package at first, when they gave it monies to people, organizations that really at this time don't need it like we need it. Brandy Dudley, hi. On top of all that, there's no end in sight at this time to this problem, and we're in debt so much that we'll never see the light at the end of the tunnel. And again, I'll say those numbers, my God, anybody that campaigns and says he's going to try to bring our deficit to zero is just lying. He's just fantasizing. He's almost mentally ill, because that's not going to happen unless one big thing happens. And I'm the guy that's going to make it happen. Scratch. When I get in office, I'm going to bankrupt the country. I'm going to take monies and put it into programs, immediate programs and things, and we're going to get back to where we should be. And I'm going to monitor this. We're going to be within our means. Jamie Schroeder, hi. And when all is said and done, a debt that's never going to be paid. Barbara Reed, holy cow, Barbara, I remember you. I see you on Facebook. I'm going to bankrupt the country. Well, they call it defaulting. You might say, how can you do that? That's going to hurt. You know, you don't want to go bankrupt in your own family. It means you're irresponsible or whatever. Or something catastrophic happened that you had to go bankrupt. Well, there has been something catastrophic in our country, and that's mismanagement of money. You know, the wimpification of the United States. There's a whole lot of things. Laura Brittner, John Bennett, hi. So again, my steps are: pay for our immediate needs, analyze all government expenditures, get rid of government waste, balance the budget, and declare bankruptcy. Regardless of what you call it, we will be at zero, folks, and we'll be able to start a new country, a new time. You watch and see. You don't think I can do it? Well, I've mentioned before, there's powers that the president has that he's not using, or if he does know about it, he's not using it, or maybe he's unaware of it. Why should we have to pay for the sins of others, the sins of our fathers? And that wimpification, that's going to stop. I'm tired of just giving money to everybody and giving in to everybody. And Jake Reynolds, hi. Folks, you have to spread the word about me, and near and far and up and down, including your fifth cousin 8 times removed. You got to tell everybody, and I want you to know, behind the scenes, Big Al is contacting all major news agencies, 100 of them. I'm telling everybody, I'm on social media. You know, we have like 6 months left. I'm going to be registered in all the allowable states. And I don't know if I shared this with you, but here's what I'm going to do. There's like 9 states that won't allow write-in candidates. Well, I'm going to write the governor and I'm going to say, Governor, you need to change that policy and get on track with everybody else. And if not, I'm going to tell people to send their vote for me to you, right to your office. And then if you don't count it, and maybe you come down to the wire and that made a difference, yeah, well, I'll take you to court. I'll take your state to court. I'll take you to court. Russell Fazenbaker, hi. We need to let the entire country know that I can save us. You might say, Al, you talk big. Well, first of all, I'm a big guy. and I've always been a big feeling guy, and I've always been on top of things. And I'm a tough guy, too. I mean, right now, you just think Big Al is so sweet. Well, I am. But when it comes to business, I'm going to take care of business. Brett Baker, hi. And I can get this done because I will use every ounce of power as president to get this done. And I mentioned before, and I'll mention it again, I would not have been impeached. Because the moment they talked about impeaching, I'd say, look, you're not going to do it, and if you insist on it, I'm going to fire you. I'm getting you right out of there. Those people work for me. And so does these governors. I sort of liken myself to a superhero. I said that on Facebook one day, and some person said, oh, now you think you're a superhero? Well, no, I don't. I think I'm a pretty good guy, but I think I'm going to have to come up with every ounce of power that a human being has, and maybe more, to try to get this country back on track. And I want you to hold on to your hats when I do it. Jason Shook, hi. When I'm elected, because it's going to be a whirlwind of change. Remember, I'm on social media, podcasts, YouTube, and all it's going to take is one person in the mainstream media. Like I did NBC yesterday. I must have emailed 20 people at NBC and told them about me. And all it's going to take is just one to say, you know what? Nobody has ever won as a write-in. This guy isn't doing any of the conventional things that a politician would. But you know what? I kind of believe in him. Let's give him a chance. And all they have to do is listen to me one time. And I'll bet you I can win the hearts of Americans. Sal, some questions and answers. Now, there was one question on here already. Jamie Pack asked. Ask them all. You can ask me anything. All right. I'll ask myself something. If elected, will you support your party's leader? The answer is there won't be any parties. I'm going to do away with them. History has shown we can. We've gone with one party. We've gone with no parties. George Washington didn't even want parties. I'm going to do away with parties. I'm going to do away with all this fighting. So I don't have to support a leader of my party because I'm not in a party, and there won't be parties. Do I think the Second Amendment should be repealed? Oh, boy. You got to be careful what you say here because this is the hottest topic, other than the pandemic, of course. The Second Amendment needs looked at once and for all, and a decision or laws need to be put into effect. I'll ponder over this greatly. And I can tell you this, Bill Bond, hi. There could be other solutions to yes guns or no guns. And, I'm a thinker. I'm an inventor. I've already come up with some ideas. And when I did share it with a couple people, they thought I was nuts. Well, I'll tell you what. If people just calm down and try to look down the middle instead of being on one side, things might get done a lot better. Brandon McCloskey. But the big thing is getting rid of these parties. It's like the Hatfields and McCoys. Do you guys know about them? Kentucky-Virginia border way, way back. 1900. Killing everybody over a pig. What about North Korea? Well, I'll deal with them. I just want them to be calm right now. Keep the status the way it is with us. And after I get all these more immediate problems out of the way, then I'm going to contact these world leaders. I may even address the UN and say, look, folks, let's get along. And I'm going to even go so far as to stress to the UN or some other world organization, if the UN can't do it, to look, make sure that every country, and if a country doesn't want to join, were still going to govern their country with these rules and regulations. And the big ones are, get along, help your people out. June Spiker Thomas, hi. Make sure your citizens have their basic needs met. And these needs can be found with Dr. William Glasser's 5 Basic Things and Eleanor Roosevelt's Rights to Human Rights. And I'll tell you what, if we lived that way, we'd have a humdinger of a life, believe me. Corrine to Joseph, hi. Now, I'm waiting for some questions to come in here. Guys, don't hesitate to ask. All you have to do is just type it in there like you're texting. But there's a lot of people waving at me, and here's a big wave back. How about when girls in parades? It used to be they used to wave, and I guess you could get like carpal tunnel from it or something. So now it's, yeah, the old side wave. Somebody wants to know, what's my favorite color? Green or house? Neither. Red is my color. And do you know if you drive a red car, you're more apt to... Blake Raley is watching. Hi, Blake. Got a question for me, Blake? That's my son, Blake. Child number 4, son number 3. Ask one of your buddies there at work if they want to ask me a question. Oh, how about our borders? Do you think we need a wall? Brett Baker asks. Brett, darn, that's a good one. I don't know if I'll continue doing what Trump did with the border wall, but I can tell you this, the border will be sealed, tighter than a drum. Even if I have to place the U.S. military every 100 yards on that border. And I don't want to. I want to be nice about it. But if it got to a shoot-to-kill order, that's the way it is. We are not letting people invade our country and sponge off of us. That's just not the way it's going to be when I'm in office. And all the ports, they're going to be so well manned until the point where I shut all the borders down between the United States and Mexico. Nobody goes in or out. That'll eliminate the drug situation. Do we even need Mexico? I talked about that $52 billion deficit in trade and services from Mexico. Baloney. So shutting down, hi Molly Brailer. So shutting down the border tighter than a drum will eliminate 3 problems. A trade deficit, the drugs, and illegals coming in. It's just what you got to do. People don't go into North Korea, do they? Unless with special permission. Do you think they have a problem like we do when it comes to that? And if I find out that the drugs are coming from other places, and I think they are, I saw on a 60-minute report that there's drugs coming into this country by way of the U.S. Postal Service from China. You know, China, I visited that country in 1998, and I think it's a fantastic country, but they're starting to make me worry. This thing about the pandemic and about these drugs coming in and just deceptive things. I just don't like that. Alan Silva, hi. That's a scratch right there. Everybody's got a scratch once in a while. So thanks for those couple questions. How big are you, Al? Well, here's how big I am. I'm 6'4" and I weigh 330 pounds. I was like 400 pounds, but oh my gosh. During this pandemic, I've lost some daggone weight. Ozzie Groves, hi. And I missed the person that was right ahead of Ozzie Groves here. Oh, gee, I'm sorry I can't go back. It was Miss Meaningham. So Alan Silva says, howdy. It's like back in the old days, the old West days. Howdy. 6'4", 330 pounds of romping, stomping dynamite, guys. And those of you that know me, know I'm a gentle giant until my buttons get pushed. If you were the ruler of the world, what laws would you make? Well, I just sort of hit on that a little bit ago, but here I go again. I would address the UN and ask every country to be on board. Set down laws, honor treaties, get along. Why can't we all get along? And expect people to adhere to them. We need to bring factories back to America. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. My God, again, we need to be self-sufficient. Yeah, we'll get stuff from the outside world, but as far as our people goes, we need to make their lives the best we can. That's jobs and everything. Cindy Davis, SP McZotic. How would you plan to impose term limits on Congress and the House when the elected persons are elected by people and... Sorry, I can't... Kelsey Malone, hi. Term limits on Congress. Yeah, they shouldn't be able to park on those jobs for their entire life. And you know what? They're getting special concessions, special favors. Like I researched it one night. And guys, I don't know a whole lot about politics, but I know enough to get things done. And the more I delve into it, these politicians, these congressmen, and maybe other people in office, they're exempt from many, many things. They're exempt from prosecution. How about that? Those people need treated the very same way you and I are treated. Jeannie Rollins-Wolotkin. Folks, it's so easy to do this. Megan Gomer, hi. It's so easy to do the right thing. I guess that's maybe because I was raised the right way and I have common sense and I know how things should be. And guys, I know we're in a time of technology and all that. And with every bit of technology, there comes some bad stuff. Well, we need to circumvent that. Technology is great. Kip Wilt. Hi, Kip. I'm sitting here at Sheetz in LaVale, Maryland, and just having a good old time. Here's another question. My last dream. Well, I really can't remember my last dream. You know, the most common dreams are falling into a pond or something and drowning, or falling off a building. And have you ever heard that if you wake up, you know, it's good because if you didn't wake up, you would have died? And you know something, folks? Here's what I think about death. When you go to sleep and you dream, and then you wake up, that's one thing. How about going to sleep and not dreaming? I believe that death is like going to sleep and you just don't wake up. Haley Booth, hi. So, they say when you die, you have a hallucination. I think that's just a dream like we have. Except whether it's a hallucination or a dream, you just don't wake up. That'd be kind of a soft, easy way to die. Cheryl Ferdiska. Cheryl, so you and Paul are watching, I guess. And did I miss somebody there? Ken Ewing. Oh, my God, Ken Ewing. Tammy Yoder. Oh, Tammy Yoder, I'd hate to do your ancestry. My God, all the Yoders and up there in Garrett County and in the United States. Holy cow. Bernie Hennigan. Hey, Big Bernie. Oh, I got a story about Bernie Hennigan. I'm going to tell it to you right now. Bernie's 6'9". Just a wonderful guy. He's friends with a guy named Lionel Baker, who owns a driving school that I work at. Well, Bernie and Doug Baker and Lionel Baker went to Paris a few years back, and you know that bombing over there? Well, they were involved in that. Bernie, I hope you don't mind me telling this. So I kept in touch with Lionel throughout the whole thing, and one time Lionel Baker says, Al, I didn't know if I was going to get trampled or shot or what. But anyway, when he got back, he said, you know, Al, I wish you would have went on that trip with us because I like big people to protect me. You're a bigger target. I said, well, Bernie Hennigan was there. But anyway, Bernie, it's nice to be big. Jim Glass. I'm going to tell you what, if you got Jim Glass on your side, you're a pretty good person. And then Jason Shook says, hi, Cheryl, my cousin. Jason, and I remember you pretty good, buddy. Where are you living, old buddy? Shane Elliott Jr., Brad Ansel, John Dickon, Marley Smith, Charles Adolfo. How are you doing? Doing good. Irvin Buskirk. Wow. This is getting to be fun. Now, folks, I'm going to do this every Friday at 9 a.m. I'm telling you, I'm going to do it whether you like it or not. Just get yourself some breakfast, sit down and watch the morning news until 9 o'clock, and then say it's time to watch Big Al. Oh, Jason, you were in Pennsylvania the last time I heard. Jason Shook. Folks, I'm going to tell you something. You've never met a guy like me. You've never met a guy applying for office, running for the president like me. But my God, I am so down to earth and common sense and smart about it. I don't need all that money, all that backing and all that. Somebody wanted to donate to my campaign. And I said, you don't need to do that. Because if I get elected, it's going to be without money. And you know, I contacted the Federal Elections Commission, which is a governmental agency. And when you run for office, especially the president, you have to register with them. So I called the guy and I talked to him. He says, well, do you have more than $5,000 in your campaign fund? I said, I have zero. He said, well, you don't have to register with us. And so weeks went by. Justin Smith, hi. Weeks went by, and I said, I called again just to make sure, because I had to make sure everything was right. He said, if you don't have $5,000 in your campaign fund, you don't have to register with us. And all these states that I register with as a write-in candidate, one of their disclaimers is, you must register with the FEC. And I'm thinking to myself, did it? Don't have to. Yeah, I'm good. What time do we have here? We have like 9:27. And boy, Teresa Orndorff Walters. Teresa, I'm not sure I know you, but let me know where you're from. All right, that's kind of it today. If there's no burning questions coming up, come on, somebody ask one last question, just one question before I go. And while that person's writing that, keep in mind, Haley Mock. Boy, there's some new names here today. Maybe my name's getting out there a little bit. Haley and all you other newbies and all the ones that are already that I know about, hey, support me. Let me say a little something here. This is how I am. On May the 1st, I started growing a beard. Last Friday, it was coming in pretty good. Well, the governor opened up the country, opened up the state. And this morning at about 7:15 a.m., Big Al shaved his beard off. Yeah. So I was saying that as I was reading Jason Shook's question. How do you plan to deal with student loan debt? I'll have to analyze the program the way it is right now and how it's being paid back and so forth. My goal would be to make education free. College and high school. Brad Ansel says, hey, Jason, good question. Yeah, I want our citizens to be like happy. Not have to worry about too much. Eugene says, Al, give me your first A stance. Gene, what do you mean by first A stance? Oh, First Amendment stance. Oh my God, Eugene. You're going to have to tell me what the First Amendment is. There's so many of them, and I've read them over, and I don't know right off the top of my head what the First Amendment is. Oh, it's freedom of speech, I guess, isn't it? Well, yeah, that's twisted a bit, that freedom of speech, demonstrations and all that stuff. Say what you want, as long as it's not harmful to somebody else. And I'm going to delve into this, Eugene. And Eugene's my cousin from Pennsylvania. Eugene, you need to come down to the Frostburg, Maryland area and look Big Al up. Yeah, I'll delve more into that. That's not on the front table right now, but I certainly will look at that. I'll look at everything. I want to fine-tune everything. Yeah, I've never been so passionate as to want to demonstrate, like give up days of work, give up time to go down to D.C. and march on D.C. and hold banners and whatever. I was just never that type of guy. But I believe you ought to be able to say what you want, have an opinion. I don't think it ought to be nasty and libelous. Where do you stand on gun control, Alan Silva says. Alan, I've addressed this many times. I'm going to jump into it. I'm going to analyze it, go over it with a fine-tooth comb. I believe people can have their way. I think you can have it both ways, with a twist. Now, I know you're going to balk at this. Ryan Liller's watching. I know you're going to balk at this. If you use guns for protection, and the reason why you were allowed to carry guns or have guns originally was because to defend yourself against the government. I don't think that's going to happen concerning the government. So you want to hunt? You want to protect yourself? There are alternatives to that without actually having a gun. And what if the government was real nice and said, look, guys, just as an experiment, can you hand in your guns, register them, and let us keep them in safe keeping, and we're going to issue some taser pistols. You can protect yourself with them, protect yourself to the point that, and you might say, well, what about the criminals? They'll have guns. No, they're not going to have guns. Guys, this is just an idea. It's to try to please the public, please our citizens. You have guns on this side, no guns on this side. We know this sayings about, guns don't kill people, people kill them. Well, I'm going to tell you this. A gun is a weapon that can cause maximum damage from a distance, quickly. If everybody carried around baseball bats, there wouldn't be a whole lot of murders. So I know I'm going to turn a lot of people off by saying this, but I'm right down the middle. I'm wanting to look at it. I'm ready to look at alternatives. Mike Allen, hi. And I don't think you're Trent Mirabal, Margaret Kometz, Shane Corwell, Ryan Liller. Guys, I'm a thinker. I'll please everybody. I don't want to make anybody mad. I don't want a negative campaign. I just want to be me and help people out, use my ingenuity, my smarts. Hunting right now with a gun. Paul Ferdisky, you're out in the field right now hunting with a gun? Well, that's all right. I think people ought to be allowed, with permission, to thin the population, the animal population. I don't think they ought to use guns on people. And that's what's happening, so that's why I'm hunting for measures. So you're out in the woods right now, Paul. That's pretty daggone good. For you to take a break from your hunting just to talk to Big Al, I like that. Paul, I kind of like you. Kinda. All right, folks, that's about it. Scratching my nose here. 35 minutes I've been here. Tune in next week. And guys, if I ruffle your feathers a little bit with my ideas, I want you to sit back and think, wait a minute. Maybe he's got something there. Or maybe I can help come up with some solutions and let me know about it. Michael Szymanski. But I can tell you this. You're going to have a better life. A much better life. How about that novel from the past about a utopian society? We can strive for that. And if we don't make it there, getting close is still a lot better than where we are. So anyway, folks, thank you. Take care. Tune in next week. And don't forget my Monday Zoom press conference where I can see you, you can see me, and we can talk political, anything, questions, answers. And don't forget my podcast once a week. Greg Taylor just tuned in. Thanks, folks.